You're the one who satisfies me. You're the one who makes me whole. Good afternoon. You're the one who makes me whole. Got a quick message that I'm gonna give, and I won't. I won't lie. Uh, Sorry about that. I battle with whether or not to take and to give it, because I know I'm fighting with the spirit of Jezebel for number one, and the spirit of divination. I listened to something that Tiffany Montgomery did the other day when she was talking about familiar spirits. And I heard her loud and clear, and I know that God has been speaking to me about the spirit of SARS. That's how it came to me, SARS. And when I finally found that word in the Strong's dictionary, it come to me back in 2009, a few months after I was saved, that there's a bunch of women that was holding on to them old ways, doing things like they did when our people was enslaved, and they would do things to the slave master stuff, and they were starting to do it to their own men. I said this hundreds of times on the videos, and that he told me that I was dealing with a spirit of SARS, which is linked to familiar spirits. And he was telling me that women was holding on, a lot of women was holding on to them old ways. And the first one he ever gave me to take and give to my former pastor, Pastor Grant, was about the spirit of Jezebel. And he had warned me about that spirit about 4 or 5 months. That was the second message that I had got, was about the spirit of Jezebel. And I was like 3 or 4 months after I was saved. Or I had started turning my life around. Let me say it that way. And took 2 years for me to take and give him that message, but I gave it to him, and probably that 2 year delay is why I'm in the predicament I'm in right now. So like I said, I was battling whether to give this or not, because I know there's people that just sit in the spirit, and I believe these are people. Some of them are sitting there wanting to get the blessings that's attached to this, but really not understanding that I messed up. Not them, because I told them about the blessings before I got a chance to explain the message to them that God was giving to me. So I owe all of y'all an apology for that. That was my fault. I shouldn't have never told y'all about the blessings until the message has started to really get out in a way that it need to get out to people, and people started to understand. So that was my fault. And I apologize to y'all for that, because a lot of y'all stuck just like me, like Chuck, in a bad situation where we think we're going to be able to do this and do this without really listening to what God is saying right now. And I really believe that God is hollering in a powerful way to the body of Christ and to those that's lost, because he reminded me again today when I was praying about, he was coming for the sinners. This will come to me when I was praying today. Just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. Then I'm going to get off and to the message. Today, 9/26/2025, and look what time I end up coming up out of my prayer to write this. 1:06 p.m. No coincidence. 1:06. 1:06, the 106th verse, is when after Eve and Adam had another son, and Seth and his son began to call upon God. Okay. Now this is what come to me. Come up out of my prayer. When to sit down and write it and realize I didn't know what time it is, I grabbed the phone, it was 1:06. Okay. This is what happened when I was in my prayer. I was reminded again when I prayed that he wanted the sinner's heart. I was reminded again that he wanted the sinner's heart. I was told to give the message from Jeremiah chapter 7, verse 4, and Genesis chapter 4, verse 6. I was told to title it that Jeremiah chapter 7, verse 1 to 12, and Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 12 to 21. And we're going to be going off in that. This is going to be like 4 or 5, should be 4 parts of this. Okay. Because each one of these main verses is speaking and is going right back to this with Mother Moore, Charlie Kirk, and God calling on the church. So I just read that and just going to say a quick prayer. Lord, you know my heart and you know how I was feeling before I got on here, thinking about how people sit in the spirit realm and they hear me working on things that I believe that you are guiding me to do and how they try to manipulate when I was in the prayer. But I seen the scroll, and I know every time that I see a scroll, when I have seen it in the past, let me put it that way, that the scrolls, what was written in them, have manifest. The scroll was not open, but I was told to take and give this message. So I'm taking and giving that. I don't know if that's what's written in the scroll or something else, or if you're going to reveal to me what was written in the scroll that I saw. I know that there's a lot of people right now that's listening, that's marking. But I know sooner or later you're going to either make it known one way or the other. If it was you that saved me, which I know and feel that it was, and saved me to take and give these messages during these last days that we in. I believe that's the reason why you did it. I believe that you know all of our hearts, not just mine. And I've given you the ring in my heart. And I know sometimes I tug back, but I want you to take and guide me, and I want you to take and be able to take and guide them too. I know you want to sin. I know you love them because you loved me when I was caught up in my sin. So I know that your heart is for us. I know you want us to turn back to you. So I ask that you touch their ears, their soul ears, their soul spirit ears, not talking about just the physical, the deep, deep ear that is attached to the soul, man, that the devil just tried to take and rule over. I ask that you let them hear what's being said here. I ask this in the mighty, mighty, mighty name of our Lord and Savior, Yeshua Jesus Christ of Nazareth. And I plead that righteous blood of the Lamb on this message, on this word, and over the ears they hear. I thank you, and I say hallelujah. Okay, now, today, where I was told to take and start, because I had to read 1 Samuel chapter 3, Ezekiel chapter 7, 8, and 9. I had to read that every day in the morning and at night to September the 23rd. So that ended. And I had really been reading that since last year, all the way up into this year. I was supposed to read, then I was told to continue to reading it. And then every time I'd pray, I had to read Ezekiel chapter 8. First it was Ezekiel chapter 8 and Isaiah chapter 16. It changed from Ezekiel chapter 8 to Ezekiel chapter 5 and Isaiah chapter 16. It changed again in August from Ezekiel chapter 8 to Jeremiah chapter 23. Okay. And then Isaiah chapter 6. And then I read Ezekiel chapter 8 and Isaiah chapter 6 all the way up to the 3rd for this month. And I've been doing that for a while too. So when I started reading that, it came to me, start back reading Jeremiah chapter 7. And Jeremiah chapter 7, verse 1 to 12. And Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 12 to 21. And when it came to me to do it, I ain't gonna lie, I was like, okay. Hundreds of times I read it. You told me to read it, to give a message, and I gave the message on this over and over and over again. So, it's like, instead of just hearing and believing like I know I need to be doing, that he will speak to me. And if it ain't him, that he will stop it. It's that faith and trusting and believing. I'm really starting to come to understand that now. So right now, even though, I'm going to be honest with y'all, even though I'm finding all these things that I'm finding is pointing to God, wanting us to hear because he loves us, I'm still having that doubt in my mind because I know there's people that I'm battling with that mess around with witchcraft, sorcery, and all that kind of stuff, and they be trying to manipulate. But the thing that get me, as evil as these people are, that's letting these spirits dwell in them, because they letting them. Some of them, they letting them. Why would they want me to take and give a message that talks about repenting and how God is pointing out things to them that's wrong? So that's the one thing that got me. And then another thing that I really come to understand since Charlie Kirk's death, is faith. And then it's something that God revealed to me way back in like 2012, 2013, when I asked him what was the writing on Angel's sleeve. And one of the letters came out and it was twirling in the air. And as it came to the end right in front of me, it turned into the word hope. I done gave that message many times too. So I thought about that, I thought about how hope and faith and love is linked, but basically was thinking about the hope and faith and me not losing my hope and knowing that he saved me for a reason. Okay? Knowing this. So, in saying that, I'm going to get off into this message. I'm sorry that I'm not sorry that I'm trying to talk to y'all, get y'all understand. I'm not sorry. I'm not, because I really want y'all to understand. I know he saved me for a reason. So here it is. I was told to read this, and I read it. And like I said, I read 100 times. And today, as I was taking and doing it, verse 4 began to holler at me, began to speak to me. And usually when stuff like that happens, it's something to it. And what I found out to it is that I was being guided right back to something that he had told me before, but that linked to something that I just did. And something that I revealed years ago when I was reading Genesis chapter 1, 2, and 3 every day in the morning and night and meditating on it for over 3.5 years. There's anywhere from 1 to 3 to 24 revelations in each verse in the Bible. You will end up literally being linked to anywhere from 3 to 24 different scriptures that will show you how that verse manifests in different parts in the Bible and how it lines up and how it's truth. Now watch how I take and do it in the numbers. Watch this. Watch it. I'm going to read from verse 1 to 4, and we're going to concentrate on verse 4, okay? And then we're going to take and go back into Genesis, okay? The word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord, saying, stand in the gates of the Lord's house and proclaim there this word. Shabukoria Sunday, righteous blood. Hear the word of the Lord, all ye of Judah that enter in these gates to worship the Lord. Please listen. Thus said the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, mend your ways and your doings, and I will cause you to dwell in this place. Trust ye not in lying words, saying, the temple of the Lord, the temple of the Lord, the temple of the Lord are these. Okay? And we'll stop at verse 4, and we're going to go back one more time, because I need to stress this. Verse 1, and the word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord, saying, stand in the gates of the Lord's house and proclaim there this word, and say, hear the word of the Lord, all ye of Judah that enter in at these gates to worship the Lord. Thus said the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, amend your ways and your doings, and I will cause you to dwell in this place. Trust ye not in lying words, saying the temple of the Lord, the temple of the Lord, the temple of the Lord are these. Okay? Now, mind you, I done read Jeremiah chapter 7 and studied it for months, for years really. Been constantly saying back to it. And today it spoke to me again in a different way. So, I done got multiple revelations on how this chapter talk and relate to other things through the numbers, the letters, and the words. Now, somebody yesterday was trying to get me to believe that I operate and do angel numbers. I don't even know what the angel numbers mean, how that works. I tried to listen to a couple of people before on the thing because I was trying to understand it, because I was seeing it. And something just didn't resonate with me about it. Not saying, because I don't know enough about it to even really speak on it. I heard other people speak on it, but I know I don't do it. And yesterday, they just kept on knocking at my door over and over, saying that's what I was doing. I was doing that kind of stuff, and I don't do it, And if anybody can explain to me how I may be doing it, I'm open to talk to you. Comment on the video, find a way that we can take and maybe get together and text back and forth. I'm willing to listen. I am. But as far as I know, I don't operate out of that at all. Okay? And I really don't even understand it. And that right there, to me, is kind of a warning sign to me when I can't relate or understand something about numbers, the way the numbers speak to me. So that right there kind of, you know what I mean? So anyway, we in verse 4, and it said, trust ye not in lying words. Now, remember in Genesis chapter 6, when God first started talking to Cain, it was in chapter 4, verse 6, when he started talking to Cain. God started talking to Cain. Now, God was talking to Cain in chapter 4, verse 6, and it says, pay attention to this. Chapter 4, verse 6, pay attention to this. And the Lord said unto Cain, now, and 1, the Lord 2, and 1, the 2, Lord 3, said 4, unto 5, Cain 6. This was said in 6 words, and the Lord said unto Cain. This was said in 6 words, 22 letters. Watch this. We are in chapter 7, verse 4, and look what it says. Trust ye not in lying words. Okay? Now watch this. Trust 1. Ye 2, not 3, in 4, lying 5, word 6. This is said in 6 words. Now watch this. Trust 5 letters. Ye 2, that's 7. Not 3, that's 10. In, that's 2, that's 12. Lying, 2, 4, 5, that's 5, so that's 17. Words, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Words. 5 and 17 is 22. So you get the same number you got back then when it first opened up, when it get to the comment. 6 words, 22 letters. Okay, I need this to register to y'all. Now, in here, you got right here, I told you, the message has always been about the middle. Now, watch this. Watch this. The middle, it got 6 parts to it. So the middle is 3 and 4. So you got right here, trust not in lying words, saying, that's 2, the temple of the Lord. So that's 3. That's the first part, 3. That would be the middle, the temple of the Lord. Okay, then the second part of the middle would be 4, because 3 is the first half, and then you got 4, 5, 6, that's the second half. So you would have the same words, the temple of the Lord. Now, I spoke in previous videos before, when I was saying, and here God was giving a warning about us, trusting in ourselves and not really having his presence in him, because we got the world. We're full of the world and full of the things that connect to Satan. So God was warning the church back then about saying, that, his presence is there, when they had really took and kicked him up out of the church. We need to pay attention to it. Because when we get to verse 12, it's going to explain it, but I need y'all to get this part. He was saying, trust ye not in lying words, saying the temple of the Lord, the temple of the Lord, the temple of the Lord are these. Now, this is very important. Temple has 6 letters in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Temple is mentioned 3 times in here. So you get the 6, 6, 6 in this. Okay? Now, I showed y'all in the video that I did with Mother Moore and Charlie Clark. I showed y'all in in chapter 4, verse 6, I showed y'all the 666 in there. Now, you see, you got the temple mentioned 3 times, so you got 666. Let's go back here so we ain't causing no confusion so we can see. Now, if you take and you go Genesis chapter 4, verse 6, you're gonna get the 6662 in that. Okay. Now here it is. We have verse verse 6. The first letters in there, and the Lord said unto Cain, you get 6 right there. And then when you get this where I end up messing up at. But watch this. Watch this. Why art thou wroth? You have 4 words there, but the other 6 is hidden. So if you take and you do the process of this, and you still looking to see what's hidden in that, why art thou wroth? That's said in 15. You said in 4 words, but 15 letters. 15 breaks down to 6. 1 plus 5. So you have 666. Right in this too, and I showed y'all that. So you had the other 6 showing up in the middle, hidden, to where you got to break the 15 down. If you don't do the whole process, you won't get it. Verse 6, okay? First part said in 6 words. The second part, which is the middle, only got 4 words, but the 4 words got 15 letters that breaks down to 6. It breaks down to 6. Okay? Now, here it is again. When you get to the last part of this, it said in 6 words, and why has thy countenance fallen? That's said in 6 words. Okay? So, even though the 6 words ain't in the middle, we still getting the 6 by the letters, but in the end, it's giving confirmation to that. You have to let it talk to you. So you have 3 6s in here in 2 different ways. Okay, I might not be explaining that to y'all in the way that y'all can comprehend it, but it's depth. And this ain't nothing new in the way that I'm doing this. It always leads back to the middle. Always leads back to the middle. So if you go from the beginning of this to the middle, you get to 666. If you take and you go from the beginning of this to the middle, you get to 666 in 2 different ways. Not only do you get to 666 in 2 different ways, because remember, when you first start off in this, you got 6 words. Okay, it say, trust you not in lying words, 6 words. And then it got saying. Saying got 6 letters. So here it is. You got the 6 that's showing in another way. And then when you get to the middle of this, a temple is missing, you get 6 again. So you got 666 that way. Now, what really takes and makes this holler, if you take and pay attention to this, not only do you get the 666, but you get the number 555. And I always link the number 555 back up to Genesis 3 and 15. What I learned from Troy Bryars is that the number 555 is linked to Jesus in another way. I learned that from him. I always linked it to Genesis 3 and 15 because it had 3 5s in it, which make 15. You get the 3 first, the 3, and then 3 5s add up to 15. So I always use Genesis 3 and 15. And I'm getting ready to prove how numbers can speak to you in that way. Now, in here, you got 5 3 times in the middle because it says right here, the temple of the Lord. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That right there is 5 words. The temple of the Lord. Both of them is in the middle, because remember 3 and 4 is the middle. So you got 5 twice right there. And taking it and taking and doing that. You got 5 right there. And then it's mentioned the third time in here, the temple of the Lord. 5 more words. So you got the 5 twice in the middle. That's double nickels. And I was giving a message at the beginning of the year. Beginning of the year and the end of last year, that this was the end of the double grace. Okay? So grace got 5 letters in it. And it was warning me about going back all the way to 2015. You come from 2015 up to 2025, that's 10 years. That's 2 nickels. You get 2 nickels in the middle of this, and then you get another nickel or 5 more words right after that. That's the 3 5s. So that's Genesis 3 and 15. What did Genesis 3 and 15 say? And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, or he shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heels. It's talking about the battle between Satan's seed and the woman's seed, or Satan and the woman's seed. We know that the mark of the beast is 666. We know that 555 is linked to Jesus. You're getting both of them, both of those numbers in Jeremiah chapter 7, verse 4. You're getting the 666 and the 555. Taking you back to Genesis 3 and 15, and it's taking you back to Genesis chapter 4, verse 6. Okay? Now we didn't show where you get the 666 and the 555. But look at this. When you take and you do the 5 words, where it said the temple of the Lord, the temple of the Lord, temple of the Lord, each time that's been said, those 5 words have 18 letters in it. Need to pay attention to it. Watch this. Watch this. 18 breaks down to 9. So you got 9, 9, 9. You got 3 9s and you got 3 6s. The 6 come before the 9 because the word temple that got the 6 letters in it that shows first, and then Lord next. Where's the 18, then the 9? I already spoke to y'all about in there how the 369 is shows up in the first verse of the Bible. It breaks down to 18, then it breaks down to 9. Okay? Now here it is. You got the 18 ending where the Lord is, and it's ending on 9. So we know, well, a lot of people won't agree with me. I know that is a number that points to power and talk about power. That's why it's mentioned about the 9 gifts of the Spirit. But I know there's more than that, but it mentioned about the 9 for a reason. Okay? For a reason. Now you got 999, 666, but each time you got the 6 before the 9. 69, 69, 69. What year are we in right now? The year of the 69 and 5786. Okay? Right? We in that right now. So we got the 69 showing 3 times. In the year of the 69 is where the last 3 shows up. 69 3 times. 3 times. We in the last 3. Come on, y'all. Hear this. I need y'all to hear me. Now, we done seen where this then went from reading this where God giving a warning, telling us that we talking about the temple of the Lord and and we come into the gates and we say that we praise him, but it's really other gods. If you go on to read this chapter, you'll find out that they was doing all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff. But I need y'all to hear how this is hollering. Now, remember back in Genesis chapter 4, verse 6, that I end up getting the number 646 instead of the number 656? I need y'all to get this. Same numbers you get right here. But before I explain this, I want to show you how it links in another way. We got 4th chapter. Listen to this, 4th chapter, 6th verse. They got 16 words. 16 breaks down to 7. So you got right here the 16 to break down. You got the 7th chapter of Jeremiah. Okay. Now here you got the 4th chapter, but the 4th chapter going to represent the 4th verse in chapter 7. And then you got the 6th, which the 6th is in Jeremiah. You got the same number. What I'm trying to say, you got the same number. You will get the number 746 in Genesis chapter 4, if you just take and break everything down to the Lord. Okay, chapter can't go down to the Lord. That's chapter 4. The verse is 6. You got 16 words. 16 words break down to 7. So you got the number 4, 6, 7. Okay, now watch the same number show up here in Jeremiah chapter 7. Remember that Jeremiah chapter 7, verse 4 is said in 24 words. 24 breaks down to 6. So you got the same number again, okay? Not only do you got the number once, but you got the number twice because it got 6 parts. So again, you got the 7, 4, 6 because it got 6 parts to it. Or you can look at it as being 66 books in the Bible, too. It can be looked at that way. Or again, 666. Again, in here. So that makes the warning even bigger. And you're saying, well, how can that be 666 again? 9 could be a 6 and the 6 can be a 9. Anyone that understands numbers knows that. So you got to be put. So that makes a double warning. But in here, he's letting us know that Jesus is available to us. Because the verse go right back to Genesis 3 and 15. Come on, God, please. Go right back. He hollering at us. And when I get ready to do this other part, and you see how the other numbers go right back and they line right back up to Mother Moore and Charlie Clark, y'all should be like, okay, I hear this, brother. God is telling me, I hate I don't have the money to go to different places. Because I ain't gonna lie, I'll be traveling. I be trying to get to the places where it's at. I wish stuff would get going here, and maybe I just need to just start taking my chances and going in different places. I'm just tired of going into places and come out just messed up, man. And then some of the places that I want to go to, I don't have my own car, so I can't go. So that's a problem too. But I need y'all that they hear what God is saying. I'm going to say God is saying it because it's his word speaking loudly. And I'm being told to read Jeremiah chapter 7, verse 1 to 12, and Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 12 to 21, all the way up to December the 25th. To December the 25th. And I've been told before I go to bed at night to read 1 Samuel chapter 5 every night before I go to sleep. And I wasn't told when to stop reading that. I told y'all I seen 2 great big, huge black vessels come in. They soul collectors, y'all. Soul collectors, y'all. I'm going to say that bold too. Okay. Now, I just showed y'all where you got the same numbers in it, how these verses is basically saying the same thing. God is trying to talk to us, just like he was trying to talk to Cain. In here is showing the battle between good and evil, just like God mentions in Genesis chapter 3 and 15. Same thing, y'all. Same thing. You start off, you get 6 words, 22 letters. You start off, you get 6 words, 22 letters, y'all. Then when you're taking your add 6 and 22 up, that's 28, breaks down to 10. 10 in the middle. Charlie Kirk was killed on the 10th. And I'm quite sure the more and more I dig into this and read in this, we're going to find how it connects to Mother more. Because I've already, and I meant to try to learn how to pronounce the young man's name that just passed away, Voddie, Voddie, his last name, Baucham. I said I was going to Google and ask Google how to pronounce, and I'm going to do that because I'm going to be speaking more on him. I found, after taking and doing the numbers on their birth and their death, the numbers is in here. In here. I don't know if it's God directly speaking to me and guiding me or one of his angels, but whoever it is, they know all of this. And they know that I'm going to find it once he take and give it to me and tell me that it's in here. When I found out, like, wow, man, this is crazy. And do y'all know that these same particular numbers right here is what led me to doing the chart and how I found the year to 66 to the year to 69 back in 2018, 20. It's been a long time, but those same numbers showed up, y'all. Same numbers. Lord, like I said, whoever you are, blood of the Lamb, I rebuke you. This matter of fact, I'm sorry, the year of the 66 year to 69, I found that going back in like 2015. Because my uncle was still alive. You know, so that goes way back. And the same numbers is in here. And then the 69 shows up in this 4th verse 3 times, y'all. And I had already told y'all about how the number 18 was bothering me. Just go back and watch the other videos. I'm gonna be reposting all 3 of those videos I did with Charlie Kirk. Mother Moore's gonna have to come from my YouTube channel. I don't know how to get people to watch it and do all the other stuff that people be doing. I don't know how to do all that, so I'm just gonna continue to ask the Lord to help me. Like today, it wouldn't even let me get on here first. I had to go back and buy some more space again. So I'm hoping that people show me how to take and download just so y'all can see how he has speak to y'all in other ways through other things. He using a gift that I was trying to use for the world to get rich, to magnify where it can't magnify, to shine light on his word in another way, because his word is already magnified. Y'all need to hear this. Same numbers that's in Genesis chapter 4, verse 6. The same numbers is in Jeremiah chapter 7, verse 4. The same way that God is speaking about Satan and the woman's seed in Genesis 3 and 15. You can find the same thing in here through the numbers, through the words. So let me just read the verses and get off here. Genesis 3 and 15. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, between thy seed and her seed. He shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heels. Now, I just talking about Satan and the woman. So you know the 666 is linked to his seed. Okay? We know that the 555 is linked to Jesus. We find that in these verses. I done showed y'all. Not only that, if you take and you pay attention to what he's telling me to take and read to December the 25th, he's telling me to read Jeremiah chapter 7. Okay? Chapter 7. And Jeremiah chapter 23. If you take and you look at that and you just look at it and you break the numbers down and look at it, 7 can't go down over. That's completion. So that's first. And then chapter 23. Number 23 is linked to Isaac, the promise. And this is hollering about promise. Hollering. I'm finna talk about that just for a smidge. Okay? 23 leads points to Isaac. The 23 breaks down to 5. So this right here is pointing back to Genesis chapter 12, verse 4. Verse 4. Okay? It's pointing back to it. Now let's read Genesis chapter 12 from verse 1 to 4. Now the Lord said unto Abram, get ye out of thy country and come from thy kindred and from thy father's house unto a land which I show you. Break free, come away from all these things that I'm hollering to you, letting you know that's wrong, and come to me. And this was going to happen. And I will make of thee a great nation. Change your life, make things better for you. And I will bless thee, change your life, make things better for you. And make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. Okay? We know we not Abraham. But this word is living. We know that we grafted in, so we're part of the seed. So this should speak to us just the way that it's speaking to him if we truly believe. I believe. I just got to get back in his presence. So we can take and do this last little run or walk that we got to do. Verse 3, and I will bless them that bless thee, and I will curse them that curse thee, and these shall all family, okay, and in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed. Now watch this. And Abraham departed, okay? Will we depart from these things that we know that's not right and answer the call that he's calling us to holiness, to righteousness, to love, to helping one another? Will we turn to that, to being the people that's going to stand on what he said about family? Will we do that? Okay? Did Abraham do it? Yeah, watch this. Verse 4. So Abraham departed as the Lord had spoken to him, and Lot went with him. And Abraham was 70 and 5 years old when he departed out of Haran. 75. These two chapters had that same number, 7 and 5. Now watch this. 7 plus 5 is 12. That brings us back to this chapter right here. Now watch this. 12 breaks down to 3. That speaks about these 3 years to come. We in the last 3. Pay attention to all of this. I heard another guy, y'all listen to sometime, I can't pronounce his name right, but it's Tommy Arori. I wrote it down how to spell it. It's another page. See, I got to get better organizing it. But he was talking about how God is taking and giving us 5 more years to prepare like the Argonaut. I don't know nothing about all that. He's been speaking to me about the 5, but about the double grace being pulled away from people that has been wanted since 2015 that refused to listen. Okay. And the only other way that the number 5 has been talking to me in a powerful way was a prophecy or prophetic word I heard spoken over Tiffany Montgomery when she was in Nigeria or either one of them other places over there in Africa. It might have been Ghana or one of them. And this man spoke over her, and I believe that he's an evangelist or he's a prophet, and he told her that in the next 5 years that, she'll be in a whole nother place, doing bigger things for the Lord. And that had been speaking to me loudly, okay? Because I'm seeing certain things. I know that there's only certain things that she can open up the doors that'll prevent this from happening. If she keep them doors closed, what that man spoke over her is going to explode. And when he spoke it, y'all that got God's spirit knowing, when he spoke it, I knew he was telling the truth. I knew he was saying something that was there in the heavens ready to be released. up on her. So I'm just hoping that certain things she stay away from, and I'm hoping that it's certain things that she kind of, but God had to deal with that in time. And I'm hoping if you hear this video, let them talk. Let them say whatever they want to say about you. Let God defend you. Just keep on pushing and doing what you're doing. If you pay attention, and one thing I've been paying attention to about Charlie Clark, when people would take and do certain things, he would do what he would do in there. It's only one of this video I seen where I kind of seen it explode, and that's when the guy was trying to bring in racism, and he just was kicking it in the butt. That's why it kind of messed me up to hear people saying that he was a racist. Because I don't watch video after video after video. But I noticed in him something that I know is right. He let people talk. He let them talk. He say whatever. He let them do it. And I'm hoping, my beautiful sister, that you let them talk. Just let them talk. Say what they say. And do what he tell you to do, because that word that was spoken over you come from the Lord. And you're getting ready to come straight into it. I think that video he spoke over you, I think it was in 2023 or 2024. It's getting ready to happen, my sister. So anyway, let me get back to this right here. We see that in the 4th verse, Abraham heard what God was saying, and he moved forward on it. We see everything that God did through him, through Isaac, through Jacob, and what he's still doing even right now today, Joseph. That's the same thing that he wanted to do in us. Okay? Now, we are the bride. We the Lord's bride. Now watch this. In Genesis, I don't got 5 minutes. In Genesis chapter 4, verse 6, you get the number 6. 4:6. Now I took and I read that. Now the number 646 verse is in Genesis chapter 24. It's chapter 24, verse 54. Now watch what it says. And they did eat and drink, he and the man that were with him, and tarried all night. And they rose up in the morning, and he said, send me away unto my master. Now, we know that this was Abraham's servant that was coming to get a bride for Isaac. Okay, so God promised that was made to him and be carried out. Now, this is the 600. This right here is the 600. This made no, that's right verse. That's right. That's the 646 verse. That's right. 646 verse is right there. Okay, if we go back, pay attention to this. One verse up, the 645th, it says, and the servant brought forth jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment, and gave them to Rebekah. To Rebekah, he gave also unto her brothers and her mother's precious things. Now, he wanted to rise up and go forth and do what it was that his master had told him. Are we going to rise up and do what the Lord told us as his bride? And it's already talking about blessing. Now, watch this. Let's take and go to the 664th verse. Look what the 664th verse says. This is in Genesis chapter 25, verse 5. It's the 664th verse. Watch this. And Abraham gave all that he had unto Isaac, the promised child. We find this 664 in Jeremiah chapter 7, verse 4. If you just, it's in that 664 is in that backwards. Watch this. Watch this. Now here it is. Here it is. We got 4 verse. We got 6 parts. We got 24 words that break down to 6. So if we come backwards, We got 664. And my storage is getting ready to run out, so I got to get off it. And I hate that just getting ready. It's getting ready to run out. I just brought some. I'm not understanding this, man. I need somebody to help me with this. I just brought some more storage. Oh boy, this ain't making no sense. Anyway,